Thanks for joining us. In less than 24 hours, the governing New Patriotic Party will be heading to the polls in search of a formidable candidate to help the party break the 8-year political cycle in the upcoming 2024 general elections. Over 200,000 delegates are expected to cast their votes in this exercise. General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party, Justin Frimpong, says that the New Patriotic Party, who have faced disciplinary actions in terms of membership leading to the suspension, are ineligible to participate in this exercise.
In Article 3(7) of our party constitution, it states, a member may be suspended from membership of the party or holding any office in the party pending an inquiry into his or her conduct by a disciplinary committee. Per our party constitution, what this presupposes is that a person can be suspended before appearing before a disciplinary committee or when a disciplinary committee would have been initiated. But as a rule, and in line with the rule of law, there is what we refer to as presumption of innocence until a matter is determined. So whereby a person has been suspended under this provision and has not gone through disciplinary committee, and the disciplinary committee has not come out with their verdict and recommended their verdict to the constituency executive, such person will vote. Please, let's take note of it. Where a person has been suspended prior to appearing before the disciplinary committee or is before the disciplinary committee, but the matter has not come to finality, such person will vote. However, where the person has gone through disciplinary committee and the disciplinary committee has come out with its recommendations and has submitted same to the constituency executive committee, and sanctions or suspension applied to the person shall not be entitled to vote. But however, also, under conditional amnesty, the constituency executive can look at the merit of their case and pardon such people to vote.
That's the updates coming through from the General Secretary of the party, Justin Frimpong. And just as you see to the side of our screens right now, you see there that some votes are beginning to trickle in already, with Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia garnering some 77.04% of the votes that we're talking about. And that has got to do with delegates voting in the U.S. The Vice President taking an early lead there. No one knows if that will translate into tomorrow's exercise. But all is set for the party with these four individuals going into the race. Joining us now is a member of our research desk, Isaac Ofieche, who's been looking at all the candidates, their prospects, and some of the data that we've seen already going into the exercise. So let's talk about that then. Looking at, first of all, the individuals that we've seen. Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, Kennedy Ohenechepong, Dr. Kotofrie and Adainimo there on the list. That the sample that we have, from the NPP USA delegates, and comparing that to, for instance, the projections being made by Global Info Analytics on the outcome of the exercise. What's that suggesting to us?
Well, it is important to explain that the results you see there as a squeeze bar is actually what is coming from the U.S. delegates. There are about 411 delegates. Yesterday, they voted, 277 of them voted, and you can see the results on your screens. But we have to explain that this U.S. delegate that we are talking about, they have 12 votes. And so this is like the way the entire body, they have voted. And they are telling you that the 12 votes give 77% to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, 22% to Kennedy Japan, and the rest to Adainimo, and then Efri Yakuto. So in essence, we are talking about some 9 votes for Vice President Bawumia, and some 3 votes or so for Kennedy Japan. So that is their interpretation of what you see on your screens. But tomorrow is going to be an interesting day because we are looking at more than 204,000 delegates who will be voting. We are talking about the profile of the candidates. First is Kennedy Ohene-Agyapong, who surprisingly, when we all thought will place third in the Superdelegate Congress, went ahead to place second. And we saw the frustration and all of those agitations in the Superdelegates. He is a force to reckon with when it comes to this main delegate conference that we're about to have tomorrow. Second is Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. This will be his first internal party election. He's been on the NPP ticket as vice president since 2008, but this is the first time he's tasting real internal elections. Yeah. He's been there. He won the Superdelegate with more than 68%. There's also Adainimo and Efri Akoto who are saying that, if you look at all the polls, they are not in their favor, but they know the work that they've done, and they know come, 4th, in November, they will have significant portion of the vote, although all the polls are pointing out to the fact that probably they may not be able to even get 2% or 3% combined.
And I mean, that's very shocking, though, looking at the individuals involved here. You have the former Greek minister, a staunch member of the party. By descent, I mean, he can go all out to claim, this is my party because of what his father has done by, setting up this whole political establishment that forms a key portion of the NPP's tradition. Then you have Adainimo also in the race.
He's been
and yet he doesn't cross the double digit. What appears to be accounting?
In fact, if you look at all of the candidates that we are talking about, Adainimo is the only one who has track record in terms of contesting this kind of elections. He was there in 2014. In fact, he was part of the candidate that made it to the top 5. And even when they made it to the top 5, we had about 2 people dropping. Adainimo was the only one amongst probably the underdog who decided to contest and had some number of votes. So he's been there before. If you talk about all the people on the ballot in terms of seniority and who has been on the ballot before, then we will say that Adainimo has tasted this kind of election before. He's been there, so he knows the nooks and crannies of such elections. But you have very formidable opponents like the vice president, who many are saying that it's a done deal for him tomorrow. But some are also saying that, come on, don't close your eyes on Kennedy Agyapong yet, because he can pull a surprise.
The reason for which many speculate that might be, walking a tightrope for the vice president is simply because of the 33% plus of the voter population who are not fully decided yet on where they want to vote. And we're going by the Global Info Analytics research that we've done, and this is in partnership with the Joy News team. So we've been looking at the figures, breaking them down, and all you see is that, yes, he has a significant majority, but as to whether or not that will give him an outright victory, because mind you need 50% plus one of the votes to be declared winner, that is in question.
Yeah. In fact, in statistics, we cannot sample the entire population, so we use a sample to determine how the population feels or the direction of the population. And if we are supposed to map the outcome of the Global Info Analytics research to the number of delegates we have, then that 32% who are currently undecided or have decided not to disclose their vote, we are talking about over 65,000 delegates. That's a huge number. Yeah. And they are the ones probably going to determine who gets that 50% plus one, because already for you to be able to declare who you vote for on phone in the poll tells you that you have taken a stand.
I see.
So we have about 44% of the delegates saying they will vote for the vice president, 23% say they'll vote for Kennedy Agyapong. If you look at that versus the 32% who are currently undecided, it makes a very big difference, because we are talking about Alan Tremantin, who has currently left the party. But before he left, from 2007 to 2014, he had some faithful followers. averaging around 9,290 followers who will religiously vote for Alan Chamantin anytime he is on the ballot in the presidential primaries. Now he's gone. Who is actually going to, benefit from this over 9,000 delegate that Alan Chamantin used to have?
Okay, and that's the crucial question we're asking. Isaac Ofieje with our research desk looking at the figures for us while we also do this build-up to the NPP's presidential primaries, which is live on the Joy News channel for you. This is your election headquarters, and that's proudly brought to you by Petrosol. Don't forget that we're doing this and bringing you all of the coverage because of their support, and you might want to, of course, stay on right through from today all throughout
probably
the
Sunday.
day tomorrow and Sunday, of course,
yeah.
because we never know what may happen even after the elections, because that's a crucial moment for the governing New Patriotic Party in the Ashanti region. Already we know that the Regional Security Council has actually banned the deployment of heavy armed men, private militia groups that may be seeking to guard the polling ahead of tomorrow's exercise. And Nana Aljima has more for us. He's reported on that. Here are excerpts.
Ashanti region has the second largest number of delegates in the NPP presidential primary with 39,987 delegates. 2 of the 4 aspirants trace their roots to the region. Former Minister for Agriculture, Dr. Oswefi Akoto, and former MP for Mampong constituency, Francis Adenimo.
And I call upon the delegates to consider these visions that I'm sharing with you, both for the party and the nation, and compare it with my competitors who also want to bear the flag, to see for yourselves, not to be distracted by money, because how much money can anybody give you?
So it's an open field, depending on how you reach out. I come from the region. I'm a pure Ashanti by birth. Both parents of mine come from here. So I'm a pure Ashanti by birth. I'm also a Northerner by education, because I studied at Navrungo Secondary for 5 years, and that is how I've been able to rise in my educational career.
Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia had a commanding victory in the Superdelegates Conference in the Ashanti region, polling 97 of the 119 votes. Some identifiable groups of the New Patriotic Party at the Kejetia and Racecourse markets have made an appeal to delegates to repeat the gesture made the Vice President in the Superdelegates Congress.
Bawumia abua yam papa ado bebre.
Dr. Bawumia was very instrumental in Akufo-Addo's tenure. It's obvious that he understands government better than the others. We urge the delegates to vote for him on Saturday.
As traders, we interact a lot with our customers, and they all say Dr. Bawumia is the right person. We urge them to vote him.
Another contender, Ken Ejapon, seems to be making gains in the region. The release by the Ashanti Region RECSEC on the election is signed by Minister Simon Osei-Mensah. The statement barred bodyguards of ministers and other government appointees from the inner perimeter. They are also not expected to carry any weapons to the premises. Motorbikes, which are mostly used in perpetrating violence, are not allowed in and around the premises for the election. To prevent taking of photos of ballots, delegates are not to carry their phones to the inner premises of the polling stations. Persons with intent of wearing t-shirts or items with pictures and signage of any aspirants are cautioned to exercise restraint. Only staff of the Electoral Commission, accredited polling agents of aspirants, and delegates voting are allowed within the inner perimeter of the premises. All delegates are further advised against staying at the polling stations after casting their ballots. Though RECSEC is expecting all delegates to strictly adhere to the directives, they have given the security agencies the mandate to deal with any person who flouts the directives. Many in the Ashanti region, which remains the stronghold of the new Patriotic Party, are highly expectant of the results of the presidential primary. For Joy News, Nanaya Ochima reporting.
Okay, a lot more is happening in the next 24 hours. We're expecting polling to open across the country. Let's see if there's any more directives from the governing New Patriotic Party on this. Director of Communications, Richard Ahiangwa, is joining us via phone now. Thank you for spending some time with us here on the polls. And already some votes are trickling in. I'm just wondering, in the lead up to the opening of polls tomorrow, if there's any updated form of directive to party members, delegates, or, the general public who might be interested in your activities tomorrow?
Thank you. I think that your cameras were with us yesterday at the press conference, and you have carried the press conference and reported on it as well. So I would want to say that the directives that were given yesterday still stand. There hasn't been any changes at all. Where we stand yesterday is where we are. The party is quite ready now. Preparations are still ongoing, but in terms of framework, everything has been put in place, and we're just putting finishing touches to the fiscal arrangements that will facilitate the process tomorrow for people to vote peacefully so we can elect our leader by close of day.
Looking at the directive, it appears that polling may close early. What's accounting for that?
Well, this is constituency by constituency. And as you would expect, the numbers are small. I think the highest yet would be somewhere maybe a little over 1,000 delegates voting. And so between 7, when the polls are opening exactly at 7, we anticipate that within a couple of hours that process will terminate, and then counting will be done. The strategy, or more than not a strategy, but the idea really is that to ensure that nothing goes beyond daylight, that we'll be able to get all the votes in, count them, and collate, transmit the results before it's dark. So it is a question of us trying to put ourselves to efficient operations tomorrow to make sure that we are able to finish before it's dark. My view is, given what we have done in our constituency elections, if nothing goes wrong, we should be able to get the polls closed by 2 p.m. or latest by 3, and counting should probably be done. It's a question of efficiency that we are trying to get this thing done as quickly as we can.
I see. The ultimate aim is to have, utmost security, have security presence all across the country, given the fact that you're spreading this across constituencies. What are the security arrangements? Are you handing everything over solely to the Ghana Police Service? Because the party might have its own internal security structures.
Yes, as you would have heard yesterday, the party, according to the General Secretary's statement yesterday, was very clear, indicating that security is entirely the police's jurisdiction, and so the party would not augment that by any internal arrangement. So the police will supervise the security of the polls across the country. So the police will be working very closely with the Electoral Commission to manage the process. We, as a party, delegates, our business is just go there, get a ballot, and then vote, and that's it. The process is completely going to be managed by the EC and the police service. There isn't anything that we as a party will do apart from showing up and voting.
There was lots of controversy surrounding who could serve as a polling agent in the exercise. The controversy surrounding government officials, opting to be a part of the exercise and being agents for some of the candidates. Have you cleared them now?
Well, that issue has been cleared. The Presidential Election Committee has taken a position on that matter. It's no longer an issue. It was one thing that, whilst it's not constitutionally required to preclude people from, because you can have anybody be your agent, but then in the interest of building consensus, I think that the aspirants have agreed not to allow that to be the case. So the Presidential Electoral Committee has taken a decision on that, and I think that that isn't a problem now for anybody to worry about. I can tell you with all confidence that where we are, and judging from the interactions from yesterday with the aspirants, there is good spirit in the party. The party is united from that meeting yesterday, with all the aspirants signing on to that undertaking to say that whatever the outcome, they will embrace it and they will work with the eventual winner. One of them will win, and whoever that person is will lead us into the elections, and the three other contestants with him would rally with us, the party, to go deliver victory in December. So right now, 2024, right now the party is poised, and I think that we are very focused and knowing exactly what this is about tomorrow. It's about us choosing one of us to lead us, and it's not a battle that we are willing to break ourselves apart over. So if you had any sense of challenge or problems in the party, I tell you from the meeting yesterday, the party is resolved to move forward. Our focus now is clearly laid on the elections in 2024. We're united to prosecute that election.
The concern also about party unity beyond the exercise tomorrow. Indeed, there's a moral suasion. All candidates have declared, have signed a peace accord. The grassroots will decide if you remain united, isn't it? Because they'll be voting.
Well, clearly, as a party member, there's a constitution that regulates our behavior. And so if the party is going in a certain direction, I, as a party member, cannot decide or, hold the party ransom that I will not unite behind the party agenda. That will be going contrary to the party constitution, and that individual or those individuals will be sanctioned. So what is key, normally, because of those who have contested, the pain of losing and the challenges with that, we all know as humans, those things can come to the fore. But with them, resolutely agreeing that they would work with whoever wins and they will accept the outcome of that election, the people who support them will have to move in the direction they're going. So that is one level of the unity which is being secured, that they would rally behind the individuals they are supporting to rally behind the party. And the second layer is that as a party member, you are required to support the party, defend and promote the goodness of the party. So by that, there's an obligation on me as a party member, regardless of who I supported, the person won or lost. I cannot say that I wouldn't work or promote the party's interest because my candidate lost. That will be me setting myself up for discipline, and I think that such people will be disciplined. And you heard the chairman yesterday saying that working with steering committee, they will take a very strong view of indiscipline in the party, from Saturday onward, and anybody who will take that rather unhelpful position will be appropriately sanctioned.
Okay. Richard, we wish you all the best, hoping that, of course, we'll catch up with you tomorrow when the exercise starts proper.
Blessed, I wish you also the best. Thank you.
Okay. Isaac Ofiaje is still with us, still combing through the figures, obviously, and looking at some of the dynamics that we ought to be looking at. We're not talking about the women the more in terms of, the dynamics of this and the kind of role they'll be playing, looking at the numbers.
So, if you look at the Ashanti region figures are quite interesting. We have about over 35,000 people will be voting from the Ashanti region. And then also we have over 39,000 from the Greater Accra region. So from Greater Accra region to Ashanti region to the Eastern region. But we were talking about women, right? Women, right?
Precisely.
Yeah, in fact, their role will be important because you heard the interview and the report that Nana Yaojima actually brought.
Yeah.
In their fellow
the side of the story and who they are rooting for. Yes.
And in fact, if you do the breakdown of the global info analytics research, you see that they spoke to more men than women. It's not
very natural.
Very natural, but they also play an important role in deciding who will be the next candidate of the new patriotic party.
I see.
But if you do you split the country into two, the northern and the southern votes, then you realize that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia per the poll is actually almost winning all the votes from the region, about 90%. 10%. The two of them, Vice President is leading, but followed keenly or closely by Kennedy Japan, all around 30%.
Yeah.
It's interesting dynamics you see in the breakdown.
Okay, we'll see how all of that will play out. Earlier I was saying it's natural that, more men will be interviewed, but ideally we're hoping to see more and more women participate in this exercise, giving, the frameworks of affirmative action and others aimed at empowering more women to participate in governance. We'll keep our eyes on that. This is your election headquarters. Expect that Joy News will definitely give you a 360 view of what's going to be happening tomorrow. But we're starting that lead up to the exercise right from tonight. The team from the political desk will be holding the election eve analysis led by the head of our political desk, Evans Mensah, who will be in studio with other colleagues to break down the figures for you and the dynamics going into the election. But just as you see there, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia topping the list in terms of the NPP USA results with over 77% of the votes. We wait to see as more and more of the figures trickle in the next 24 hours. And now to health.
The Honorable Minister have directed the Chief Executive of Kolebu to, as a matter of urgency, make the post open and issue statements to the general public for Ghanaians to know that the place is open. The amount of money that we are supposed to pay the old service as we move on to see whether there will be an increment or not. We've not spoken about that, but we are hoping that they will comply with Honorable Minister's directive.
Well, so we know that there were concerns that Kolebu raised. At least we're waiting for that statement to find out the details of the opening. But let me find out first, is it taking immediate effect, the opening of the renal dialysis unit?
Yes, from the directive of the Honorable Minister, supposed to take immediate effect. And the Chief Executive will know, who has also assured that he will work towards that. We hope that he will take consider the directive of the Honorable Minister and take the opening seriously.
But listen to the CEO, he's more than willing to open, but the debt, outstanding debt, the 4 million cedis debt is the main concern, plus the cost of consumables subsequently. Has that all been sorted, you'd say?
Yes, as part of their discussion, of which I know the Honorable Minister has addressed a number of issues regarding the outstanding, and then the differences that will come after. And so they've spoken about it, and it's had a stakeholders discussion. A lot has been done, and we are sure that will be taken care of.
That was the PRO of the Ministry of Health, Isaac Bamfe, assuring that the renal dialysis unit of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital will be operational. And of course, that will be open to outpatients. But 24 hours after this assurances were given, the outpatient department remains closed. Yesterday, there was a bipartisan call in Parliament for the facility to be open.
Parliament as a whole should be deeply concerned about the persistent closure of the renal unit outpatient department at Kolebu Teaching Hospital. This situation has far-reaching implications for the well-being of dialysis patients in Ghana and raises serious questions about the commitment of government to transparency and accountability in our healthcare institutions. In the initial case of the facility's closure was attributed to scarcity of essential medical consumables required for dialysis. When dialysis medical consumables were finally procured, the service saw an unprecedented increase in fees from 380 Ghana cedis to 765.42. The Minister of Health and the hospital administration must, as a matter of priority, address this situation. The denial of essential healthcare services is a severe violation of patients' rights and a breach of public trust. We implore the government to work diligently with the hospital to rectify this situation and uphold its commitment to providing accessible and affordable healthcare service to all citizens. The paramount objective must be the prompt reopening of the Renal Unit Outpatient Department and the provision of essential subsidies to ensure that healthcare services are accessible and affordable for all citizens.
I fully associate myself with the call for the minister to be programmed to appear. That is something we cannot compromise on. He must appear. And especially on a matter about the lives of our citizenry, we can't take for granted. It can happen to any of us. And so I'm fully associated with that call. It's about the lives of our people. Whatever it takes, he must appear. We must program him to appear and to brief us. Immediately, the Kolebu Renal unit should be open immediately. And there are some other actions that have been taken. That is why I'm emphasizing the call. As Speaker, we need you to bless this call that the minister should be programmed to come and make this statement formally on the floor of Parliament. He can't sit in his ministry and engage the media and make this statement. He must come to the representative of the people and make this statement formally in the House.
That's the majority with Frank Anodompe there, ranking member on the Health Committee. And we know that lots and lots of MPs are equally raising concern about this whole situation, about why the OPD is not being open to the renal patients. Joining us in studio now is once more is President of the Renal Patients Association, Kojobanfo Ahenkra. He was with me at the start of the week. He's still here simply because there's no update. And it's sad. It saddens us here at Joy News that government has not opened the facility in spite of all of the directives that we've heard from the Health Ministry. The directives also coming through from, I believe, the presidential spokesperson. There was an assurance. The minister says he's giving the directive to the hospital to open the facility, and yet it's still not open. Yeah. You've checked? Yes. So we are correct. That's not open.
It's not open. To the OPD, the unit itself is working, right, but they are just doing the inpatient and the emergencies. But the OPD is still not open to us.
And for those who do not appreciate, the issues that we're talking about here, because we raised that, at the start of the week. For those who might have missed that, how crucial is this to your health, as renal patients?
Thank you. Very crucial. The point is, once you are at the end stage of the kidney dialysis, your only survivor is on the dialysis machine, or you do a transplant. And this dialysis machine requires you to do 3 times a week, a session a week. If you're not able to afford, you do once a week. So now, if you don't get it, you are going to your grave. So it's very crucial and very essential. So we don't know what is this, opening, not opening, and we are not even hearing anything from them since yesterday. Right. I was there yesterday, I've been there today. The unit is open, emergencies and ward cases. OPD, 0.
Your members are still complaining about this. I'm just wondering how they're feeling now, knowing that nothing is being done about the situation.
My brother, how will you feel? You are left in your own way. I mean, if it is open, you are going fine. But now, so if it is not open, you cannot walk in. I don't want to exaggerate. Yeah. I keep saying most of the OPD cases are now going back to the ward because they are not feeling well. They are sick. They are going back to the ward. And I was saying the other time that I came here, all this thing could have solved when the taxes on these consumables have been stripped off so that the private dialysis centers can be giving these services to them at a very moderate rate that they can go in there and do. Because now all the pressure is going to be on Korle Bu. All the pressure is going to be on Korle Bu because the private person goes for the goods, he brings it. You don't expect him to do it free of charge. The consumables are very expensive. We understand, we've checked, it's very expensive. So if the taxes are waived off, they can also be supported. Whilst Korle Bu is having challenges. At least if you have about 200, you can walk to any dialysis center and get your session done and go.
And the other day, we're also talking, or perhaps exploring the possibility of having other health facilities to just open up to have more of the dialysis equipment.
Yeah, it should be done because like Accra here, I know 37 is doing, police hospital is doing, Korle Bu, the main hospital, the other public hospital, I'm not really sure, but those that I'm sure is about Korle Bu, 37 and police hospital, they are doing it. Now, like I keep saying, most of the people travel all the way from Koforidua, Begro, Kibi, and come to Korle Bu. So if those regional hospitals are having it, the dialysis machine, it will help. It will bring some of these pressures down. Because one will get up, don't sit in the car all the way from Begro, come to Accra, finish, travel back to, maybe there's one in Koforidua. It will help. So the facility need to be open to other centers.
How expensive is it now, right? And let's do that analysis. How expensive is it now affording this dialysis treatment simply because the OPD cases are not being looked after at Korle Bu?
Very expensive. As I'm talking to you now, some of the places that we go, the information we are gathering, they have increased their prices starting from next month.
Really?
I'm telling you.
Because now the pressure is coming on these facilities.
The pressure is coming on them. And everybody would like to prefer to go to a proper place to get his dialysis. So now those good ones amongst us, they are now increasing their prices from next month. So you can imagine, already what we are paying, we cannot even pay. Out of this, people are dying. Yesterday, you did a news on one of the guy who died. Yeah. That's 9 children. I know him very well. We go, we sit down, we chat. He has left his children, 9 kids. They are gone. If Korle Bu was working, probably he wouldn't die by the time that he died. So it's very expensive. It's and it's to our detriment of our health. You need it to clean your system.
Right.
You need to clean it. You eat, you drink. Right. It's choked. You have to go and clean it so that you can enjoy life more. Definitely everybody will die, but for now, this is what we need to do to live a little bit. So we are begging them. If they say they've reopened the place, they should let us see the action. Because this is about life and death time. Somebody can die today. But if he's able to get or be on the machine even for 30 minutes, he will live.
You can save their lives. Could you, the point about what options you're looking at now, simply because government is not yielding, for now there's no other option except to use the private facilities. What's the next line of action for your group now? Do you intend to pile more pressure? Do you intend to call the health minister, for instance, who's not appearing yet in parliament because of this?
That is exactly what we want to do. But one thing is that the strength is not there. Some of us, we are fortunately, maybe we are able to move out. But the strength is there. Most of the people are either on wheelchair or they need to be assisted to walk. We'll pile the pressure, but we can't force them. We are just appealing to them that I heard the minority guys.
Yes.
It can happen to anybody. Now, kidney is no more whether you drink alcohol or you don't drink alcohol. It can happen to anybody to come to this stage. So we are just begging them. We are pleading with them. They should consider us. They should do something about it.
Just between the start of the week and where we are now, have you made some more attempts at just trying to get some response on this concern?
Yes, we've done it, but there's nothing. Like I said yesterday when the news came, I was going for my lab report at Korle Bu. I went there, I went through, and nobody doesn't want to talk. All that they hear that you're also waiting for instructions from above before they can do anything. The instruction they have there, they're supposed to do the ward cases and that of the emergency. If they don't have, they cannot do anything. They are just waiting for instruction from above. Maybe start with the OPD, then they will start. If there's no instruction, as I was even coming to this studio, I called a friend. He said, oh, still, they've not heard anything. So what are we doing? But what can we do? We can only appeal to the government that we are begging them. They should do something about it. And my brother, you see, if Kolebu is open today, that is not the end of the matter. The Kolebu CEO has made it clear that if they open it at the price of 380, we will need almost like 1 million Ghana cedis
to subsidize it every month.
So all this things have to come in. Even though we want the place to open so that we can start something, but all this things have to come in. So we are just begging them. They should open up the place to us. And we should have we should enjoy life small.
It's really sad. Okay, how about, the private facilities meeting them as a group and trying to, appeal to their moral conscience just to beat down the price, as a collective, group of renal patients. How about that? Because I'm trying to, just juggle through my mind the kind of options and solutions you might be in need of right now.
These private dialysis centers, that is where we go. We're speaking to them, and we sat and we talk to them. Right. What do we do? And they will tell you, listen, we've gone for the consumables. It's there. I've paid this amount of taxes on it. Maybe I borrowed money to pay for those taxes. So what can I do? I need to recoup my money back. That's what they are telling us. Or the government, what the government can also do is that this subsidy they are trying to bring, they have to look at the private place to, or maybe take this, we'll pay this number of people that will come.
So as in terms of a subsidy going to some of these private facilities, those handling the dialysis case.
Yes. So maybe because like I keep saying, Kolebu cannot handle the renal cases that we have even in Accra, not the whole Ghana. Right. Kolebu cannot handle it. Their number of machines, they have about 15 machines working now. 15 machines. OPD, we are numbering about 250. Now, 250 is 4 hours, 4 hours. So sometimes...
So even within a day, they can't do it?
They can't do it. They can't, so they've categorized us. Somebody will go on Monday, somebody will go on Tuesday, somebody will go on Wednesday. 4 hours. A day. At most that they can do is about 4 sessions. Now, we have people on admission, a number of them, they also did it. So if they work with the OPD small, they have to go and work with those on admission. So the private sector will need to come in to absorb them, because most of the private centers have about 30 or 40 patients. This is not Kolebu, and I cannot speak for them. I'm talking about Kolebu. We are numbering about 250. And by the time we go, it's about 5 months, some days now. I'm sure by now, the new cases that they've done, they are numbering about 100 plus, which they will come and join with the OPDO. So 300 more we are going. So something drastically have to be done about this thing. They should look at the private sector, assist them, give them tax waivers so that the thing can come down. So they can also be absorbed. Somebody does not want to come on air to come and talk about this. People are hiding it. I keep saying we have a lot of big men amongst us. You cannot mention names. We see them, we talk. You cannot mention them. So if he has got his money, he can just simply go to a private sector and do it. Case closed. So they should look at that one too. We are just begging them. And brother, people are dying, 19 solid people gone from May up to now.
So let me give you an opportunity again, at least, and that's all we can do from our side, and also trying to solicit support from whichever quarters it will come from to support your group. But if you had the opportunity once more of speaking to the conscience of the health minister, the president, and all those who matter, just to make a difference in this case, what would that message be?
You see, I said, it can happen to anybody. Nobody knows tomorrow. So once again, all that I can tell them that we beg them is to open the place and make Kolebu more accessible. Secondly, I think the most important thing, I might not be the perfect person to talk about, they should look at the taxes on the consumables and the machine. Because now, kidney is very common. Very, very common. I mean, we have 9-year-old boy on the machine. We have 13, we have 16. When you take those people out, the age range is normally, I think it's between 20 to 30 years. You can check the bracket there. So it can happen to anybody. So they should look at the taxes. I'm just begging the minister, if maybe he's hearing me, they should once again...
If it's not, he should be hearing you by now, I believe.
Once again, they should look at the taxes component on the consumables and the machine, so that the private sector can absorb most of this, so that there will not be much pressure on Kolebu and maybe other dialysis center. So it's a plea. We are just, they should look at the taxes on the component again.
And in the meantime, you're also calling on, benevolent individuals who might want to support?
Yes. The other day I said it.
Yes.
I said it. Please, once again, the big churches, Church of Pentecost, ICGC, Duncan Williams, whatever church, we are just begging them. They should take one Sunday, all the money they will collect, they should come and give it to Kolebu Renal unit, so that at least it will bring the pressure down. We know it's not that easy, but the lesser that they can do. Once again, let me thank Prof. Bwedin Amiche. Because
Dr.
Bwedin Amiche. He has done his bit, but Oliver asked for more. If he can still do more.
Oh, you still want him to support some more?
Right. People are dying, The accessibility, for the dialysis. Now, the fistula is 7,000. If your fistula gets spoiled and you need to redo, it's 7,000. The neckline now is between 4,000. The femoral is around 2,000. So we still need money. So we are begging all those churches, Ibrahim, Mama, and Co. Please come to our aid. We beg them.
And of course, that's been our job here at Joy News, trying to support the Renal Patients Association. You could come over to Joy News and, of course, pledge your support, whichever way you feel you can support this group, and just do that. And, of course, we will partner you along that journey. But grateful, Kuju, that you're spending some time with us here on the Pulse. So you need to support them. We're also asking government to try as much as possible to come through and to support this good cause. We're asking for the OPD, at least at Kolebu, to be open so more and more people can have access to the dialysis treatment. Okay, let's move to environment now, because the Environmental Protection Agency is indicating its role to contribute to Ghana's nationally determined contribution. We'll tell you more about that and the role the EPA intends to play as the world moves to COP20 later this month. You're watching The Pulse. We'll be right back. Please stay. Staying with us, the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, says it is working to meet Ghana's nationally determined contribution at tackling climate change. The significant change in the variation of the average weather conditions is due to climate issues, a reason for the state and non-state actors to converge in the United Arab Emirates. This month, for the COP28 summit ahead of the event, the United Arab Emirates mission in Ghana says it is embarking on a tree planting exercise to complement Ghana's green agenda.
The United Arab Emirates is hosting the 28th Conference of Parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change in November 2023 to unite countries around the world in the fight against climate change. Ahead of that summit, the Embassy of the United Arab Emirates says it has commenced a tree planting exercise aimed at complementing Ghana's green agenda.
We are planting the Gulf tree as a gesture of a cooperation and keenness to strengthen the ties. For the first time, my country is hosting the COP28. The COP28, which is the conference of the climate change. For the first time ever in COP events, there will be a review of progress, assess the limit of global warming, known as the global stocktake. And because of the close bilateral relation between the UAE and Ghana, I'm pleased to announce that the UAE exceptionally granted Ghana a pavilion within the Blue Space region.
Henry Kobna Kokofo, Director of the Environmental Protection Agency, who joined in the tree planting exercise in Accra, indicated to Joy News that President Akufo-Addo is leading Ghana's effort at meeting the nationally determined contribution towards tackling the climate crisis.
Well, Ghana has a common voice. Our President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has led the onslaught on reformation on the global financial architecture, where accessing funds will be made more easy, where funds will be channeled to the needy, which of course we, the vulnerable countries, who through no fault of ours are suffering most.
Mayor of Accra, Elizabeth Saki, who also joined in planting some Mediterranean trees in Accra, underscored the need to plant more trees in support of the green agenda.
Personally determined contributions, the actions of programs towards alleviating the climate menace, all boils down to funding. So climate financing has been a critical issue.
Ghana's high life musician Ochame Kwame has been using his art and music to communicate the need for climate action, says there is a need for the world to join hands in tackling the crisis.
I'm looking forward to real development. I'm looking forward to youth involvement. I'm looking forward to actions. I am looking forward to collaboration. I'm looking forward to learnings. I'm looking forward to impact. Yes. Climate conversation or climate consciousness has not gone down as much as I would wish. So let us all get involved, socially, mentally, health-wise, everything. And especially also to lower the eco anxiety of the youth.
Any final message to Ghana?
Okay, so all that I want to say is that the climate conversation or climate consciousness has not gone down as much as I would wish. So let us all get involved. Media. Once we talk about gossip a little bit, let us spend, next year is a year of election. If a politician comes to say vote for them and they don't have sustainability and climate change in their manifesto, don't vote for them.
COP28 will highlight the need for finance, which will emerge as a pivotal cross-cutting theme for all stakeholders in the summit come November.
And two South African nationals have embarked on a motorcycle journey from Pretoria, South Africa through 20 African countries, including Ghana, to Madrid, Spain, to raise awareness and funds to deal with the scarcity of potable water in rural African communities. Having covered over 10,000 kilometers so far, the duo arrived in Ghana and have been interacting with students of Achimota School, emphasizing the importance of community service. Carlos Caloni has the rest of the story.
Expedition H2O Ride for Water, two friends, Dr. Jean Cooper and Dr. DeWitt Ostersen, started a 16,000-kilometer motorcycle journey from Pretoria on September 16, 2023. They are traveling along the west coast of Africa, passing through about 20 African countries, including Ghana. Dr. Jean Cooper, an organizational psychologist and the chief people and culture officer at fintech company Direct Transact, explained that the objective of the journey is to create awareness of portable water scarcity in deprived communities and raise 3.2 million rand towards building over 100 portable water storage facilities in Africa.
We started Botswana, Namibia, Angola, DRC, Cabinda, Congo, Cameroon, Nigeria, Benin, Togo. Now we are in Ghana. So for this journey, we intend to, we say, if we journey is 16,000 kilometers, we intend to raise 200 South African rands per kilometer. It's 3.2 million rand, which will be enough to install 100 rainwater tanks that can give water to 4,800 people.
Met on arrival in Ghana by the Deputy Minister of Education, John Tim Forjo, the two visited and interacted with students of Achimota School. As an acclaimed emergency medicine doctor from Wangaratta in the Australian outback, Dr. DeWitt encouraged the young Achimota students not to get distracted by the current obstacles, but should remain focused on their goals.
We had a great opportunity here at Achimota to interact with the students, to hear their questions as well, and their interests and their passion with what they intend on trying to do with their lives and future and stuff. For us, one of the biggest things is on this trip is keep on going. There's lots of obstacle stuff you can't plan for, the same as in life. And what's become quite apparent is that these students are also experiencing obstacles and problems and trying to kind of work through that, keeping your eye on the end goal, focusing on that rather than just getting blinded by the problem right at the moment.
Commending the two for their life-impacting journey, Deputy Minister of Education John Tim Forjo reiterated the government's commitment to improving STEM education in the country.
Science, technology, engineering, mathematics emphasis is something that
that we are very excited about. The Minister for Education, Dr. Yaoseduchum, has that as his priority. And interestingly, what motivates us is that the President, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and the Vice President themselves are inspiring us to change the face of our education system, place emphasis on STEM, and ensure strategically we're able to have 60% STEM and 40% humanity at tertiary. And so that we are very poised on ensuring that right at teenage years, right at the younger years, we have the skills of biomedical engineering, aviation, computer science, computer engineering, creativity, critical thinking, and invention imbibed in our students.
Some students of Achimota School also expressed their appreciation to the duo for their impactful interactions.
In every walk of life, you need to put your head or put your eyes to the goal and not just forget about the obstacles around you, and you'll be well off to go. That's what I'm taking off from.
Now, Member of Parliament for the Dafiama Busie's constituency, that's Dr. Sebastian Sandari, has lashed out at the government for refusing to fix the Dafiame-Sanwi road. The road was among some of the major road networks in the Upper West region that was washed away by violent flash floods in 2021. He indicates the Roads and Highways Minister, in answering a question on the road in Parliament, promised to fix it in 2 weeks, but no construction work has begun. Join News' Upper West regional correspondent Rafiq Salam now reports.
The Dafiama-Sanwi road was among major roads that were cut off on August 12, 2021 by violent flash floods in the Upper West region. 50 million Ghana cedis was allocated by the government to fix the affected roads in the region. Construction work on the emergency roads were awarded to 4 contractors who they all executed and opened to traffic in less than a month. The Dafiama-Sanwi road that links the community to other parts of the Dafiama-Bure-Isa district and the Griba municipality were however left off from the emergency projects. Residents are now left to their own fate. Member of Parliament for Dafiama-Bure-Isa, Dr. Sebastian Sandare, chastised Roads and Highways Minister Kwesi Amankwata and Upper West Region Minister Dr. Hafiz Bin Sali for using a helicopter to have an aerial view of the area without touching down to see the deleterious effects of the flash floods on the people living on the ground and under squalid conditions.
They did not touch down to even see for themselves the problems of the people. So they never got to this part of Dafiama, this part of the road, and they left. Whatever temporary intervention that came, this route was not considered. They did the Somba one and the Nudulu one and left. So since August 2021, meaning it's more than 2 years, there has not been any intervention by government for this route.
To add insult to injury, there are no road signs to alert motorists and drivers about the danger on the road.
The feeder roads people that are in charge, whether they have come or not, at least even if the road is not being worked upon, we expected that there should be some signs. This is a very dangerous spot. That there should be some signs to indicate that authorities are aware that it's a dangerous spot. So when you are coming and you get to this place, be careful. But as we can see and as your cameras can capture, if you are not familiar with this road, you may run straight into any of these big holes. And two young men of this village fell inside this water and perished because of the bad nature of the road. Almost every week, somebody from somewhere falls inside here, get wounded and treated.
Dr. Sebastian Sandara said he has not relented on his quest for the road to be fixed, penciling the various officers that he has been to, including the DBI District Assembly, Federal Roads Department and also posing an urgent question in Parliament for the Road Minister to respond to.
The Minister for Roads and Highways, in answering my question in Parliament, gave me 2 weeks. That within 2 weeks, government was going to work on this road. It has been more than a year, 2 years. So 2 weeks have turned into 2 years. And I want the Minister of Roads and Highways to now see me. I'm at the very point, the very location that my question in Parliament was talking about.
Since the violent flash 26 months ago, economic activities and healthcare delivery in the area has grounded to a halt, whilst attendance of schools by pupils is erratic. Parents who wish to have their children at school on rainy days have to swim them across the road that has now turned into a valley. Farm produce are also locked up at the farms as a result of the unmotorable road.
We passed through here to go and treat ourselves at Gepa Hospital. But because of that, people find it difficult to cross, particularly in the rainy season. Also, here is a very busy farming community. How to transport our produce to go and sell at the market is another challenge. Our students are not spared. So if there is any heavy downpour, the children cannot go to school. And it's actually affecting every aspect of our life.
Mind you, work on the other major roads were completed within a month and open to traffic, but this road hasn't seen an inch of blade of work by any contractor. The people are however wondering whether this road was deliberately neglected by the government or was not part of the 50 million Ghana cedis allocated for the fixing of the emergency roads. Reporting for Joy News, Rafik Salam, Dafiema.
Well, we stay within the Dafiema Busa area because the district chief executive for the area has denied the assertion of the MP that government has deliberately neglected the people of the area, stating that plans are far advanced to fix the road.
We have been directed and we sent estimates to the Ministry of Roads and Highways so that they will come and fix the roads for us. In fact, the minister promised, but then you can also understand that you don't always have all the resources that you need available to you, because you could see that the minister worked swiftly to work on some of the roads that were cut. And as I talked to you, some of the roads which were left, this assembly, we using the common fund, have also fixed the Tabiesi Road. We've also fixed the Guonuo Jimpense section. But I still left with the Jimpense Chala section. It's also left with the Dafiema Barre section, which is the Dafiema Dachia section. Then it's also left with the Chaba Buse section. These are left, and we as a district assembly, we are still waiting for our resources, especially the common fund. When it comes, we're going to continue. So it is not that somebody has left it and has left the people to their own fate. If that is the case, we wouldn't have gone there to do the estimate. Are we going to have the road fixed? I am telling you, see, resources are such that, you see, normally you anticipate resources. Like as I'm standing, I don't know when we will get money. Anytime money comes, and as I alluded to you, I said some of the roads were left. One is the Tabiesi Road, one is the Bayiri one. We have fixed the Bayiri section, Bayiri to Jimpense. It's been fixed temporarily. We also fixed the Tabiesi one temporarily using common fund. And we are saying that the next batch of common fund that will come, we're going to also award the other ones, depending on how much we receive. We're going to tackle them one after the other. So I cannot just say tomorrow, next, we are going to fix it. But plans are far advanced. And you, Rafik, you are a very seasoned journalist. You can do your research to see whether we have done estimates, to see whether we have this letter I've talked about, whether I've written, to see whether I've moved myself to the Ministry of Roads and Highways and have engagement with them with regards to these roads. And you can also find out from the Ministry of Roads and Highways what they are doing, what resources they have, and what is in their plan. So normally, sometimes we politicians, we should be very careful, because when you see you are failing, don't try to put your failure and hit the heads of people against each other. It's so unfortunate.
A law lecturer at Gimpa Law School, George Bafo Asari Free, has made a strong case for a sort of supranational government within the West Africa sub-region to pursue a common agenda for the good of the people. Key amongst the proposal includes the establishment of a common market and a single currency, as well as a common central bank for security and economic independence. Speaking at a workshop series at the Gimpa Law School Thursday, Mr. Asari Free indicated that a supranational government is the surest way that the sub-region could become industrialized and compete with the likes of the European Union. There's more in this report.
The court should also have the power to issue binding judgments and orders that the Commission or other mechanisms can enforce. 3. Developing a common market and a monetary union for the region by harmonizing trade.
Mr. Sarefrie was speaking at a workshop dubbed Giving ECOWAS a Teeth, a case of supranational government for the West African sub-region. He called on contemporary African leaders to commit to the cause of a sub-regional government by ceding off part of their sovereignty for the realization of a supranational government.
Various governments have to cede some of their sovereignty to this body. This is because I'm of the opinion that ECOWAS does not have the teeth to bite. So regarding most of these policies, they are not able to implement.
Beyond the potential economic benefits, Mr. Asarefrie believes security architecture of member countries will be strengthened if they are successful at implementing a sub-regional government.
Fostering a common foreign and security policy for the region, coordinating diplomatic actions, positions, and representations among member states on sub-regional and international issues, and establishing a common defense and security mechanisms that can respond to threats as well, and challenges to peace and stability in the sub-region.
He says the countries might as well scrap existing blocks if they are unwilling to pursue a sub-regional government.
And we do not get rid of this by having this supranational organization or supranational government to see to the enforcement of the various policies that we have, the various protocols, the various treaties that we have. Then it's better we just scrap ECOWAS.
The next step for Mr. Sarefrie is to make copies of the presentation available to the ECOWAS Commission and other relevant organizations.
South African mission to Ghana insists that their country is safe as the visa waiver agreement comes into force. There have been many xenophobic attacks in the past weeks and also in the past years, with many prospective travelers fearing for their lives. Very recently, a priest was attacked and kidnapped. In spite of these developments, the Commission to Ghana says that the country is safe and is encouraging Ghanaians to take advantage of the 90-day visa waiver. Michael Ashali reports.
A busy day for the South African mission in Ghana as the much-anticipated visa waiver agreement kicks in. Deputy Ambassador to Ghana, Tando Dalamba, says this is a significant step for both countries and a step closer to making Africa borderless.
So we are entitled for 90 days to be in South Africa. How you use those 90 days, it depends on you. Whether you use it 5 days, 10 days, 20 days, but it must be 90 days in a year. I think other African leaders will follow suit, but it's within the AU agenda to have borderless, continent.
He explains that with the right documentation, any Ghanaian can travel to South Africa for at most 90 days without a visa.
It's a valid etiquette, a valid passport that is 6 months, You see, that is valid for 6 months before you apply. The yellow fever certificate. You see, like in any other country, even here in Ghana, when you come, the immigration officers and police at Kotoka, I've experienced it.
A series of assaults on foreign nationals, often termed as xenophobic attacks, have been reported, notably in the week prior to the agreement launch. A Ghanaian priest was kidnapped and subsequently released after several days. Security stands as top concern for many contemplating a visit to South Africa. Deputy Ambassador to Ghana, Tando Dalamba, assured the country is safe.
In our mind that this thing is going to happen, our police, together with the Ghanaian authorities, they will make it a point that the pastor is back. Yes, South Africa, it's safe. But like in any other country, I'm not trying to defend the question of whether crime or not. Like in any other country, when you visit, you take those precautionary measures. And another thing, criminals, they take advantage of the situation at times. You see, like in any other country, they'll take a situation. But we would like to appeal to the Ghanaians, when they go to South Africa, they must really take precautionary measures, not to travel alone, to travel in groups at least. I think it will be safer in that way.
So where should you visit in South Africa? And what should you do as well? Head of South Africa's Tourism West Africa, Thakiso Rokolo Jane, has some ideas.
So the waiver has an enormous impact on the two countries. One thing that I can guarantee you, your entry point is Gauteng in Johannesburg. So already I can tell you there's a lot more things to do. I'm from Soweto myself. So you do not want to miss Soweto. Go and find out where Nelson Mandela's house was. Desmond Tutu, go and meet the Sowetans in their hometown. And you might be, lucky to meet one or two Ghanaians there. Trust me, a lot of Ghanaians do visit that part. Go to the Apartheid Museum. Go to Sun City.
The Commission hopes that both Ghanaians and South Africans will not overstay their welcome.
German Chancellor Olaf Scholz visited Nigeria and Ghana as part of his government's continuing efforts to develop economic ties and partnership in Africa. Well, it's bringing DW's Atta Sullivan in Berlin, who's joining us with more now, with a comprehensive view of the visit. Let's Atta, look at the time of German Chancellor Olaf Scholz in Ghana and Nigeria. What has he been doing during this visit? As we know, he's rounded off and is off to Germany.
Well, the big focus of Olaf Scholz's visit to West Africa has been the deepening of economic and security ties, and he's visited two countries, Ghana and Nigeria. In Ghana, Scholz spoke of the need for Germany and the EU, indeed, to help improve security in West Africa by providing training and equipment to support operations there against several jihad insurgencies in the region. And Scholz referenced the many coups which have recently taken place across West Africa and in other parts of Africa. Now, Scholz called Ghana a beacon of hope in terms of democracy in the continent, and he emphasised that it could become an increasingly important partner for Germany, particularly in the fields of energy, agriculture and digitalisation. Scholz was also in Nigeria earlier this week. Of course, that's a hugely important and influential country in economic terms and otherwise in Africa, and the focus there was, unsurprisingly, on trade and economic ties. Now, during bilateral talks with the Nigerian President, Bola Tinubu, the leaders discussed the possible export of gas from Nigeria to Europe and the chance for Germany to invest in Nigeria's mining sector. Germany has been trying to find new energy partners since Russia invaded Ukraine, and Berlin has also increasingly been looking into the possibility of Africa as a major energy partner in several regards into the future.
Scholz's third trip, as we understand, to the sub-Saharan parts of Africa in 2 years. What does this tell us about, the region's growing importance to Germany?
Indeed, 3 trips to Africa in the 2 years since he became Chancellor. That really shows how keen he and the German government have been to expand and improve its relations with countries on the continent. Now, the context in which this is happening as well is important. Later this month, towards the end of November, Germany will host a meeting of African and G20 countries in Berlin, and that's part of Germany's so-called Compact with Africa. Germany and its companies want to develop new connections and relations with African countries. They really want to start focusing on version of, they've called it the North-South relationship in terms of European-African relations. And energy, as we've said already, is a really important part of this focus. Many African nations are oil and gas rich, and Germany only knows too well how its dependence on one source of energy, namely Russian gas, cost it. So it needs to diversify its partners in energy, and another area which Scholz mentioned is hydrogen energy. He says that African countries have a real chance for growth in this climate change focused area of hydrogen energy into the future.
Right, and we know that Germany's head of state himself has also visited Africa this week. What's the significance of this visit?
Indeed, so the German president, the head of state, so not as powerful as Olaf Scholz, but a very important figure politically. He's in Tanzania for a few different reasons. Economic relations are important, like they are with Scholz's visit, and Steinmeier will also visit Zambia. But the most important reason why he's there is surely to discuss and confront Germany's colonial legacy in Tanzania and the atrocities that it committed during the period of German rule in the country from 1885 to 1918. Now, this is particularly significant because Germany has taken big steps in recent years to address its colonial legacy in Namibia, but until now not in Tanzania. Of particular focus here is the German acts during the Maji Maji rebellion between the years 1905 and 1907, when several tribes banded together to try and rise up against the colonial power Germany. Now, the German army crushed the rebellion at that time, and experts say that up to 300,000 people died as a result of the actions of Germany at that time. Now, on Wednesday, Steinmeier visited the southern Tanzanian city of Songea, where he asked for forgiveness for the actions of Germany. He said he was ashamed of the past, and he told the relatives of the victims that Germany plans to work with the descendants in the future, and now indeed. Another issue he promised to address, the repatriation of remains which were brought from East Africa and used in anthropological collections in museums in Germany. He emphasised that would be very difficult to accomplish, but that he would do his best. And along with that visit from Scholz, which we discussed earlier, this all adds up to a really serious diplomatic and economic overture on the part of Germany towards Africa.
Arthur, thank you. Back home, Erastus Asare-Donkor, the reigning GJA Journalist of the Year, continues to bask in glory for his extraordinary works that have won him the covetous award at the just-ended Ghana Journalist Awards. The multimedia journalist spent some time with some students and staff of the Angels, especially School International at Tema Community 12, where he educated them on the ills of illegal mining. He therefore used the opportunity to call on the students and teachers to become ambassadors to fight against illegal mining. We see Kwating was there and now reports.
It was a resounding welcome for Multimedia's Erastus Asare-Donkor, the GJA Journalist of the Year 2022 at the Angel Specialist School International at the Tema Community 12. The meeting was to appreciate the exploit of the award-winning journalist, especially in the area of illegal mining. On behalf of the school, Irene Odru, Head of Primary and Programs Coordinator, congratulated the multimedia journalist for the outstanding achievement.
Erastus Asare-Donkor Multimedia Group for winning the PAV and Sun Journalist of the Year 2023. It's a privilege to have a great journalist amongst us.
Addressing the gathering, who were full of admiration for his works, Erastus narrated what motivated him to take up the dangerous challenge of exposing ills of illegal mining.
We also get poisonous chemicals from mining. Some of those chemicals are mercury, arsenic, cadmium, lead. You've heard of them, right, in your science class? But they are very poisonous if they should get into your system. God, in his own wisdom, buried them deep within the earth's crust. But when we mine and we use excavators and heavy equipment, we bring them all up. And so when the wind blows, we see the dust around. Some of them carry heavy metals you will never see.
There was also the viewing of the award-winning documentary Poison for Gold, where students were allowed to ask questions later.
We sought to find more answers. Deep inside the greens of Twifo Kotochi and Twifo Etimokwa Old Town in the Twifo Etimokwa district of the Central Region, excavators are digging deep.
My question is, what can we do to help campaign against the galamsey?
You know, word spread very fast. So you start spreading the word. That's what you can do. So tell your parents in the house, today we watched something, a documentary on illegal mining. It's affecting us. And ask your dad, what can you do to stop it?
The program's coordinator explained to Joy News how the school intends to join the fight against illegal mining.
So the campaign is #StopIllegalMining. The school is going to champion it, is going to spread the news. We are going to see how we can affiliate this to our Global Perspective project so that we spread the news. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend.
Some students shared what they have learned and how they will support the fight against the menace.
I have learned that illegal mining or galamsey causes harm to mothers and unborn babies. It causes their children to have deformities when they are born. Like some of them don't have genitals, and that is really harmful. I'm going to help my school start a campaign against illegal mining so that we can save the lives of children and mothers in this country.
We want to create this movement to help other people learn about illegal mining. So, #StopIllegalMining.
Erastus Asaridongo says it is his plan to educate young ones on the dangers of illegal mining so that they become ambassadors for the war against the menace. Kwesi Adai-Kwatin's report for Joy News.
And indeed, we are all saying no to illegal mining. Now, having lost bitterly to their arch rivals in the 2023 finals of the National Science and Maths Quiz, outgoing members of the Achimota Science and Maths Quiz team promise the school will bounce back in 2024 to clinch the coveted trophy. Speaking to Joy News is Carlos Kaloni in the company of the entire team of the Kenneth Owahini and Walter Elegba assets that they are going back to the drawing board to look at their mistakes and also which will inspire them, their team, to glory.
This is Achimota School. They have been regular with the National Science and Maths Quiz for many years, but for this particular year, 2023, they appear not to have done much in terms of clinching the trophy. They lost out on that to Presec.
After the finals, I think we were not that happy, but then I think days passed by, we recognized that we should appreciate whatever happened, and it was in God's will that it happened. So yeah, and after the finals, the reception has been massive. I think the whole school really received us well, and everybody has been in support of us after the final. I think our training time was small, and so we weren't really accustomed to a lot of things. But then still, by God's grace, we were able to move to the finals, and I think the finals into the radars, we rushed a little bit, yes. So as the team right now, we are planning on transferring whatever that we've learned from the finals and the NSNQ exposure to our juniors now. So we're trying to be with them and also help them so that in case they claim the trophy. I mean, everything is in God's hands, but then we're going to work harder and come back stronger.
It has really been massive, not only when we came, but when we were also at Kumasi and at the National Theatre. The support was really massive, and people were praying for us, encouraging us, and then pushing us forward and onto the finals. And I think that's what has helped us get this far. Okay, I think right now we are going to sit back and then study the contest and then see what worked for us, what didn't work for us, see how we can improve upon ourselves, and we'll come back. Surely we'll come back better next year. I'm not scared of physics. If I was scared, I wouldn't compete in that finals. So I just want to see that we are coming back stronger next year, and we'll see what happens.
And our lower primary pupils from some 20 schools in the Abuakwa South municipality of the Eastern region are to be empowered in a newly launched reading marathon dubbed the Readathon Challenge this morning.
The
The initiative by the Kingsley Quizzes in collaboration with the Municipal Education Directorate is to help pupils in the municipality build their reading capabilities from the early stage. The contesting schools, contestants and finalists will be awarded awesomely with gifts ranging from laptops, books, cash prizes, etc. CEO of Kingsley Quizzes, Dr. Kingsley Ajiman, has been explaining the initiative.
This is the first time we are doing such an educational intervention program in the municipality. We started with the JHS, where we do math and science quiz for the JHS, spelling challenge for primary school, debate for high school. We do mentorship program also for high school. So we realized that at a very lower level, that is crèche to P3 or basic 3 was lacking, or they've been left out. So we had this education program quizzes for them. We are very much aware of the results of the National Standardization Test, where in 2015 the same test was conducted for basic 2 children, and the results was that 98% of Ghanaian children in basic 2 could not read. This was not a pleasant news at all. In 2022, the same test was also conducted, and 64% still cannot read. This is not something that anybody should be excited about. Hence this intervention. And it is not strange that it is happening, the maiden of it is happening in the Buakwa South municipality. I mean, the Buakwa South has a hallmark or has a trajectory of being the first in almost everything. So this is one of the educational interventions from the stables of the Kingsley Quizzes.
Teachers of some participating schools say the quiz and all the award it comes with will help the learners make reading a hobby. They want parents and colleague teachers to take advantage of the initiative to empower their pupils.
This quiz is going a long way to help them because it's a whole package. We'll be teaching them pronunciations, they'll be doing spellings, reading as well. So it will go a long way to help them. It will increase their vocabulary and a whole lot.
It's going to help them very well because it's a reading program. And we are now going to start with the phonetics, so it's going to help them in their reading, their vocabulary, and how to speak English fluently.
My name is Mauli Joshua. I'm from KPC Demonstration Basic. We are here to witness the launching of Kingsley Widaton. This program has come to help our case because in our various schools there is a new initiative from GES, which is T2E, which has really helped the kids in reading and then how to spell some basic words. So today I'm sure this program that Doctor has initiated or launched will help the kids to be able to read very well and read fluently, and it's going to help the kids very well.
Indeed, these children need to read and write. But that's all we have for you in this package of The Pulse. I'm Blessed Suga. Log on to myjoyonline.com. We have lots of stories for you there. Next is Let's Talk Showbiz. Thanks for your time.